All right, hello and welcome to All Tied Up tie of the week. Today is February 26, 2017. Let's see here. Making sure the stream is working properly before we get going too far. Let's see here. Let's see here, looking for my view on the watch page. All right, so I am getting a signal here, and we will begin our broadcast here in approximately 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We'll wait till the 6 o'clock mark. So we'll get going here in approximately 3 minutes. This is a little something I came up with this afternoon. Getting things going. I will be able to monitor the chat on the YouTube channel. If you make a comment on Facebook, I'm not going to necessarily get to it. So hop over to the YouTube channel and hit me up in that chat room. So, alright. I think I've hit the share button a couple of times. And here we go. Alright. So I have almost 6 o'clock. I always said 6 o'clock Central Time Zone is my standard kickoff time. Pardon the crack of my cola. Anyways, I've saw a post here on Facebook a while back. I had some moose hair available, and took a little while getting up to me. Came all the way from, I believe, the great state of Texas. Good guy. What was his name? Joshua Henderson. So, big shout out to Joshua Henderson for helping me out with this moose hair portion. And I'm calling this fly, it's a rocking bullwinkle. It's using moose hair for the underwing, and I'm using squirrel for the outer wing. This is tied up on a size 8 streamer hook. It's a 4X long. Let's see if I can get my little bag of it. This is kind of the outer wrappings of what it came in. Just says 8 LS forged straight DE 4X long. Some hand-me-downs. Excuse me. But it's a lot of fun. What can I say? So we will go ahead and just get things going right off the get-go. Once again, this is a size 8 streamer hook. It's a 4X long. I don't know, it's kind of like a Mickey fin, kind of like a whole bunch of different stuff. So, you know, it's a matter of your imagination being your only limitation. So I'm using just a small little diameter black thread, nothing fancy or special. I believe it's a Danville's floss. Could be a 170, I don't know. It's hard to keep track of things when they don't have labels, so it's not going to stop me from using it by any stretch of the imagination. So on this Rocky and Bullwinkle streamer, I have this copper brown UTC ultra wire. I like it because it's kind of subdued a little bit, kind of rustic and rusty. And we're going to get this tied in here just in the front. And we'll just set this off to the back side for now. We'll finish tying that in here in a moment. And on the back side, I have this red floss. So we'll tie this in as well up here on the front. And I'm just going to go ahead and tie all the material in up here in the front. And then I'm going to carry it all back. I have a white, this is 2 strands of silk floss as well. So red and white floss, some brown copper wire. I like that all down nice and good. So I'm just going to go ahead and take all 3, hold them together, and just tie them all in at once. This kind of really ensures the body stays nice and uniform. And I can actually run my thread all the way back up to the front. So if you're just joining me, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It's all about subscribership here on the YouTube side of things. It gives you the opportunity to stay up to date on all my ties and all my flies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold back the white for now, and I am just going to give that 2 wraps just to hold that out of the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to palmer on some nice tight touching wraps of my red, and I'm just doing a little bit here on the back side. Three, 4 turns or so. This is where a thread holder would come in handy. I'm going to unwrap, and I'm going to switch the white and the red. I'm just going to do 1 turn just to kind of keep that going. And I can lock that down now. And now I'm free to roam about the cabin on this white floss. That's pretty much how I do my basic transitions. Keeps the body, the thread thickness is always going to be even, should be the same, relatively close. I don't know, you tell me. Say hello in that chat room. I'm peeking down from time to time on my new channel here. Oh, bump the camera just a little bit. So I'm having some difficulties getting my live streams to sync up and work using my desktop computer. or my actual computer and running that with a live cam or web camera. So this is all ran off of my phone. So there we go. Both of those are up front. We'll lock those off. And we'll come in with our scissors and give that a nice trim. Alright, we'll do some counter wraps with this brown wire. I want to space these out pretty open. You don't want to crowd this by any stretch of the imagination. I want these wraps are just going to do their job and secure that silk floss down. Take your time and get nice even wraps. That's more or less key, is the evenness. And now that I'm looking at it a little bit closer, I think I could have ran that white floss up a few more turns. Alright, now I'm going to do a little bit of the wing action. This is some moose hair. Got a whole big tuft of it. And I don't want to go too heavy on it. So when you trim it off, it's got, this moose has all sorts of fuzz and junk underneath. So I have a comb off camera where I run those tips through the comb. And just to even up the tips a little bit, this moose stacks up really easy. So we'll just give it a couple taps. And those tips are all nice and lined up. So we'll get those out. And we'll line up and do our measure. So I want these to extend out just a little bit past past the bend of the hook. I'm going to run my thread up just a little bit. And what I do is I just come in and I'm just going to clear out a landing zone. Trim that off. And I'm going to set that right there on top. A couple tight wraps. Kind of position it, help it work around its way around the hook a little bit. Double check your measurement. And then just proceed to lock it down. Yeah, I definitely could have took this forward a little bit. So that's kind of the under wing, and the outer wing is good old squirrel tail. Again, I'm just going to take myself a nice small clump of that. Let me know how you're enjoying the new layout for the new YouTube channel here, all tied up. Always open for comments. And I'm going to level out those tips a little bit on that squirrel tail. Spending a little bit of extra time working on those title cards and whatnot. Alright, now on this outer wing, I'm going to line this up about halfway up the wing. Maybe a little bit more, maybe about 3/4, 5/8. Again, I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to trim that off right away. Get it out of the way. Don't need it, not using it. Set that on top, kind of give it a little bit of a smush. I'll work those fibers. I think that turned out a little bit too long. So we're going to back this up and I'm going to trim this out just a little bit more. That'll work right there. Nice tight locking wraps. Build up a little bit of a head up here on the front. And I'm going to have a little bit of bare hook up front. I'm not going to necessarily take that taper all the way down, because we're going to tie another one. I'm going to do a quick whip finish, and we'll lock this off. And quick paint job, some good old secret sauce, Sally Hansen's. So I went ahead and trimmed off half of my brush on this fingernail polish. Makes things a lot easier to applicate. A little bit too much there. Rescue some of it with the bodkin. There you have it. That is what I'm calling the Rocky and Bullwinkle. Part moose, part squirrel. A little streamer action. I think it's kind of fun. You tell me. So let's tie another one. We'll get this out of the way. And into the drying rack. Here it is. If you don't have any of these are just absolutely amazing little bench side tools. Help hold your hook and allows the head to dry. Here we go. Let's get another one on here. Once again, size 8. This is a streamer hook. It's a 4X long. I'm using just standard black. It's relatively small, maybe. It could be a maybe 140, could be a 70 denier. Floss. I don't know. No label. Who knows? Who really knows? I'm going to tie in some wire to secure this down. I've really decided that I like the darkness of the copper brown, you know, opposed to a bright flashy wire. You can get. I'm going to get enough bright and flashiness out of the red and white silk floss. So I'm going to take a few wraps, tie this silver or this brown copper wire in here up front, and set that off to the side. I also have some red silk floss. I'll do a couple turns of this as well on the back side of the hook. And I have some white silk floss. This is silk floss. Actually, no, I believe this is rayon. I think it's a little bit tougher than the silk floss. Either way, it's got a nice shine to it, and it comes in 2 strands, so it's a little bit tougher. Anyways, we'll get that tied in up front here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all 3 pieces of material, hold them together, and we're going to tie them all in together. And it helps really ensure you get a nice uniform body. There we go. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and take this white. I'm going to fold it forward and get it out of the way. Just a couple of wraps. And that leaves me some room to wrap on my red, which I'm using here on the back end. Just a red little tag end here. Nothing big, nothing fancy. There you go. All right. We'll unwrap the white. And we will switch out the white for the red. We'll lock that down and get that out of the way. A couple wraps. And now we will continue the rest of this forward with the white. And what's nice is keeping everything on the bobbins. Really minimize waste. I say that in almost every one of my videos. Keep it on the bobbin, minimize the waste. A frugal tire is a busy tire. Really need to get one of those bobbin holders, get all this out of my way. That way I don't have to spend any of this time sorting this back out. Suppose I could have just cut off the red floss off the get-go. We'll get there. Lessons learned, right? Almost there. Let's keep taking that forward. And I really like the way the brown copper wire really highlights or lowlights the bright shimmer of this white. Okay, we'll hold both of these up and get them out of the way, and we'll do some legit locking wraps. Here we go. And we'll trim this all out of the way. Very minimal waste there. Couple more wraps just to really get that pegged down. Alright, counter wraps with this brown copper. I'll do one full wrap on the back side. I'm going to do relatively open spiral forward. Just take your time. Get things nice and even. It's all about presentation, right? You're going to take the time to do something. Do it right. Come in here and trim off that wire. Hold that down. Get a few more nice tight locking wraps. Really get that wire secured. Here we go. Alright, the rocking Bullwinkle can't be a rocking Bullwinkle without some Bullwinkle. That means we'll tie in some moose body hair for the wing. Using not quite a pencil's diameter on there. little bit smaller than that. Clean this out off to the side. There you go. Beautiful. And we're going to just kind of line up those tips a little bit more than what they are. And this mousse, you don't even really have to knock it around. It just kind of falls into place right away. Measure out our wing. I'm going to go a little bit past, a little bit longer than the length of the hook. When it's all said and done with, and I like to go ahead and just trim that off right away. Line that up, and we'll lock that down nice and tight. Really kind of helps give it a nice flare. Really got to hold it down nice and tight. And get our thread right back. You want to get your thread all the way to the back part of where I have that cast, that head starting. Just checking to make sure everything is streaming on the get-go. Once again, big shout out to my boy Josh Henderson for this moose hair. You know, if you need any, shoot me a message on Facebook or on hit me up on an email. All tied up flytyneschool@gmail, or just leave a comment in the comment section below on the YouTube channel, and I'll get you guys introduced. So the rocky part is a little bit of squirrel tail. Again, I'm just using a relatively small little tuft there. And stack it up, line up the tips. And I'm going to get this about halfway up the wing, thereabouts. Not much, just using the tips here. Get that right into position, and some tight locking wraps, and give it a look. That'll work. A little bit long, but that'll work. I'm satisfied with it. And we'll fill in that void, that little bump, with thread. So we'll get a nice, even, tapered head. And since this is a smaller diameter thread, this might take a few minutes, but it'll be worth it. Get a nice cone up front. Really lock that down. Come in with the whip finish, and we'll just crank this away a couple of times. And secure the thread. There you have it. Just making sure I have all my settings set correct. Huh. Well, can't really tell if anybody's watching or not, but we'll see. We shall see. Anyways, let's go ahead and add a little bit of head cement on there. There you go. And we'll come in and even it out. And there you have it. So there you go. That is the Rocky and Bullwinkle. And I think we're going to call that a beautiful tie for the night. That is your tie of the week here with All Tied Up Fly Tying School. Be sure to click subscribe, tell your friends, hit that share button, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a comment in the comment section. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a wonderful night. Happy tying and tight lines.